Welcome to Cook's War Strategy Gaming. Today we have the first battle of Bull Run, playing Grand Tactician the Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Alright, let's fire up the scenario. First, Manassas. We are going to play as the Union side. You can see the Army strengths here. The Union side with 35,000 men under the command of Irvin Mcdowell, and the Confederates under P.G.T. Beauregard with 32,000 men. So a pretty even and close matchup was this battle. Alright, let's set the stage for the battle. We have here, after Fort Sumter was captured by South Carolina military forces on April 14th, President Lincoln called for 75,000 volunteers with 90-day enlistments to quell the rebellion. His call for militia has triggered a strong response. Southern slave states, including Virginia, that had not seceded, then decided to do so, and eventually joined the Confederate States of America. This brought the Civil War to the doorstep of Washington, D.C. during the summer of 1861. The Confederates constructed defenses in northern Virginia with the Army of the Potomac, not to be confused with the later Federal Army of the same name. There was a lot of confusing names between the North and South, between the from battlefields and whatnot. But anyways, under the command of the Confederate hero of Fort Sumter, Brigadier General P.G.T. Beauregard in command. Beauregard's troops are concentrated near Manassas Junction, less than 30 miles away from Washington. The Brigadier General Joseph E. Johnston's Army of Shenandoah in the Shenandoah Valley is in support, guarding Beauregard's left flank. With several smaller skirmishes and battles having already been fought, Lincoln is preparing to end the rebellion before the 3-month enlistments of the majority of his soldiers expire. Those on the North strongly expected that the Civil War would end in a dramatic fashion, with the Union armies, after crushing the Confederate forces before them, sweeping aside the Confederates and capturing Richmond, the capital of the Confederacy, since May. You know who did not think it was going to be a short war? Two guys that I can think of off the top of my head. Winfield Scott, the overall commander at this time, and Tecumseh Sherman did not think it was going to be a short war. And for the North's part, they had two armies to face the rebels. One in northeastern Virginia, currently in the Washington, D.C. area, and the Department of Pennsylvania guarding the mouth of the Shenandoah Valley. The main army in Washington, D.C. was commanded by Brigadier General Irvin Mcdowell, another veteran of the Mexican War and experienced administrator and friend of Major General Winfield Scott, the commanding general of all Union armies. On July 16, 1861, McDowell's force, the largest field army ever gathered on North American continent, some 35,000 men, marched from Washington, D.C. and crossed the Potomac, intending to engage and defeat Beauregard's army. The Federal troops, mostly inexperienced and not accustomed to the hardships of soldiering, marched slowly in the sweltering heat. McDowell's plan was to outflank the Confederate army that has formed its line along Bull Run Creek. And on July 11th, with Johnston's army already forming a junction with Beauregard, both armies planned to attack and turn their opponent's left flank, while Johnston and Beauregard planned to attack by crossing Bull Run Creek at Blackburn's Ford. McDowell's army moves first. In a few hours, the first major battle of the Civil War would be fought, with two inexperienced and fragile armies on both sides clashing in large numbers for the first time in the Civil War. So basically, both sides were trying to do a left flank turning movement. McDowell had the upper hand at the beginning of the battle, and we'll leave it at that, and why don't we get started with the actual battle. So let's take a look at the battlefield as it starts. We have Schenck's unit Tyler's division right here on the Warrenton Turnpike, getting ready to cross the Stone Bridge. And there is Heinzelman's division, which should be doing the flanking maneuver. They are located to the north. They are across the creek in front of Sudley Church, and will move across that bridge, hopefully unopposed, and hopefully to get behind the Confederate rear, or get in the Confederate rear, hopefully somewhere in that vicinity of New Market. Looks like there's Longstreet facing Blackburn's Ford. Facing Longstreet across the ford, you have Richardson's brigade, who will probably just keep Longstreet occupied. So the goal here will be just to keep Longstreet occupied at Blackburn's Ford. I'm not going to try to crossing there unless I can determine it'll be a successful crossing. Now, what I think I'm going to do is order Richardson's brigade to demonstrate on Blackburn's Ford to at least hold Longstreet in place there, and almost like a feint attack. So let's kind of see if we can order this brigade to march towards Blackburn's Ford. Alright, orders are given at the signal. And we should see, let's bring up this artillery piece on the heights over here overlooking Blackburn's Ford, and just kind of keep Longstreet busy with artillery fire. And I should be able to kind of drag and drop the units almost like Ultimate General style. Hit the check mark to send the order. Now I think a courier has to come from McDowell's headquarters to actually give the orders to Richardson, so there might be a delay before his troops start moving. Let's take a look at Tyler's 1st Division here, and it looks like I might invest in Stonebridge and Farm Ford and just go straight down the pike while Heintzelman's division is working its way around Sudley Church. So let's give the orders here to 1st Division to make a move on Stonebridge, and then let's take a look at, we have 2nd Division under Hunter, also with Heintzelman's corps, or I'm sorry, Heintzelman's division. He's not yet a corps commander. That comes later in the war. And we will command them to, or order them to, the Sudley Springs and Sudley Church fords and bridges. You can kind of see where the troops are going to line up over here on the hillside. So I'm thinking that it might be better to put Heintzelman and invest him on Poplar Ford here as another option, so that the Confederates, if they have to try to defend all the crossings, that would stretch them out. We will take 5th Division of Dixon Miles and move them down the Warrenton Pike in a reserve position. Alright, so let's move Richardson's brigade into position here on Blackburn's Ford. Just going to keep Longstreet occupied. Set up some artillery, hopefully, and just pound away at his position. Let's review the overall strategy, where we'll follow pretty much close to history, where McDowell wanted to get in and around what he believed to be the rebel position on Henry Hill. We'll take the units across Sudley Church and Sudley Springs. So let's start the battle and get the troops moving. You see Heintzelman's troops starting to move in the north. Tyler's 1st Division has been activated as well, and they will start to move towards the Stone Bridge. Well, not quite activated yet. Let's take a closer look at the a closer look at the troops before the bridge here. And you can again see where they should be lining up into position. And now we have some movement. That's good. Let's take a closer look at the movement. You can see the artillery in column moving down the road. You can also see these little courier guys scrambling over. They're probably going to Richardson's brigade to give him his commands. And we look at Richardson's brigade again. Still not a lot of movement. Let's take a look at Miles's reserve division. Still at Centerville. He has yet to move down the turnpike. But we have Hunter and Heintzelman well on the move. Unopposed at Sudley Springs. So very, very cool watching the units on the zoomed out map kind of move on the hand-drawn maps here. Definitely like the look and feel of this. And let's take a look at where the orders will place the units right in front of Matthews Hill. And let's issue new orders to Heintzelman to cross Poplar Ford. And you can see the new orders. And it looks like we discovered or have sighted some rebel units near the farm ford, some artillery across the way. Let's take a closer look at that position. Looks like we have a rebel infantry brigade, and I see some artillery there too, but about 1,600 men, Confederate men, defending the bridge. And let's take a look at Shank's brigade, of the 2nd Brigade, moving into position, getting close to the bridge. We got 4 brigades and artillery battery approaching the bridge. Let's find a good spot for the artillery to set up. It looks like there's a little ledge here, heighted elevation, which I love on the zoomed out map. You can kind of, you almost have a better feel on the zoomed out map where the elevation is. Let's check in on Richardson's here, Richardson's brigade, the 4th Artillery Brigade, and they are moving a little bit, but no movement from Longstreet is detected, so I guess that's a good thing. Our goal is to keep Longstreet held at that position. And let's take a look at up north with Heintzelman and Hunter's 2 divisions. Centerville is taken. We get a dispatch from Army headquarters. Let's watch the brigades moving down the road. Again, very nice, clean, neat feature of this game. And now we detect some more rebel units across Lewis's Ford that actually kind of outflank the artillery, Shank's artillery. Maybe we might have to address that. Hopefully they don't cross the bridge and stay on the other side of the creek. Miles has his orders to move down the turnpike. Why don't we adjust our artillery? I want to actually keep them on facing across the stone bridge, even though we detected some rebel units to the flank. I can quickly send over some infantry to guard that flank, but I want the fire to concentrate here on the Van Pelt house, those rebel units right there. And I heard some booming of some guns over there. Must be Ayer's artillery firing on the rebel units across Van Pelt, having some troubles giving them orders to turn around, which actually they must have been firing at the other units to their left. I want them to fire on, there we go. There we go. That's what I want you guys to do. And it sounds like the Battle of First Manassas has begun. So in the bottom right hand corner you can see that the battle time is 9 a.m. The battle began, I think, at 8 a.m. So we're already an hour into the battle and things are starting to get underway. Troops moving across Sudley Church. Heinzelman trying to, or about to cross Poplar Ford. And I don't see any rebel resistance there, neither on Matthew Hill as well. So so far no resistance to the flanking maneuver, catching the rebels unawares. Let's quick check back at Blackburn's Ford, make sure. Longstreet has disappeared. I think he's just hiding in the woods. It doesn't look like he's crossed the river. So maybe he's just hiding in those woods. Do have some artillery fire from the Union artillery position, and yeah, I can spot some of Longstreet's men still in the woods there, so would like to move my infantry up and try to harass him from across the ford. So let's see how that goes. And everyone looks like they're in position in front of Stone Bridge. So, and that's good too. I don't really want to make a crossing yet across Stone Bridge until Heinzelman and Hunter's division to the north get in position for full effect on the flanking maneuver. There's no sense in trying to cross Stone Bridge unless the rebels over there start to kind of move or retreat or something. Looks like we have another division in reserve under Runyon's 4th Division, so they can probably come in to support the flanking attack, or or as things develop, wherever needed. Let's start speeding things up here. We got ×4 speed going on, and Heinzelman is getting his troops across Poplar Ford in pretty good order there, so that's good. And Hunter has his brigades across Bull Run, approaching Matthews Hill. And we'll check back at Blackburn's Ford, and not a lot of action going on here, just some artillery fire. And Longstreet's still kind of elusive. Up there, we can spot him again, so he's just kind of hiding in the woods, probably trying to cover from artillery fire. And that's what I like to hear, the sounds of guns on the battlefield. It's been kind of quiet so far, so hopefully that's a sign of action to come. I think things are starting to get heated at Stone Bridge, and I'm seeing flashes of artillery, now the booming of cannons. So artillery barrage on my part against the rebels cannons open fire, so we have counter battery fire going on, an artillery duel for this fight over the Stone Bridge here. And so things getting heated over there at Stone Bridge, and now we've got units from Hunter's division getting in position behind the rebel units at Van Pelt House. Surprised that the rebels did not. It doesn't look like they're occupying. They didn't occupy Matthews Hill. It doesn't look like they have anything around the Robinson House or Henry Hill, unless they're concealed. I've got Heinzelman almost completely across Poplar Ford, and there is, I forget, that was Miles' division in good position to follow up any successful attack here. So the plan is coming into place, and things are about to get started real soon here. So let's take a look, or a closer look, at David Hunter's 2nd Division coming in behind the rebel units near Van Pelt House. They will be getting into attack formation here. And they are in front of the Young Branch Creek at Stone House. And there are no rebel units, to their surprise. Hunter is shocked that he is being unopposed, and that is actually, he is paralyzed by shock. Missing an opportunity. He wants to wait for Heinzelman to get in position first. He should probably just go. Just move forward. But he is trying to get in position. There's Heinzelman, and let's get in on the flank there. And some more booming of the artillery. Nice. I do like the muzzle flashes and the smoke puffs from the cannons. I think they add a nice touch to the game. So it is now 10 a.m. or 2 hours into the battle, and nothing major to note, but things are looking really good for the Union side, especially. But things look like they're about to get very serious soon, especially around Stone Bridge. We're checking up on Blackburn Ford, and still not a lot of action, although I see some artillery now getting in position over there at Blackburn Ford. We still have Heitzelman moving up the road here. Hunter has just stopped with no real opposition in front of him. He has just stopped. I thought I gave him orders to move forward, but let's check on him. Let's get him going. There, move. All right, there he goes. Maybe I did not give him orders, so we can blame that on the commander for missing the opportunity to just smash into the rebel rear. But Heinzelman's aggressively coming up the road now. Although around 4 times speed is almost 10:30 battlefield time. Howard's brigade coming into position, wheeling into position there. We also have Franklin's brigade. All these guys, future corps commanders. So you actually have quite a few famous and not so famous future corps commanders, and an army commander in Sherman. Alright, so fighting is starting to get aggressive, and there's a courier just running right into the rebels. He must be trying to get to the other side of the creek. Yeah. Hey, buddy. You just ran right into the enemy lines there, and look at him scampering away there. So, back to safety. Let's order men from Heinzelman's division. Let's move them forward right into the rebel artillery brigade that is situated right over there, and we'll deploy some skirmishers and just keep moving forward and take those guns. The rebel unit is being very slow to react. It doesn't look like he's reacting at all to the flank attack. I would be getting, if this was me, if I was the rebel commander, and again we're playing against the AI, but you would like to see the AI kind of react a little bit differently to this situation. And again, it could be game mechanics too, where using the courier system, but those units got to be able to act on their own initiative sometimes. So we'll see how things develop. So the one thing that does concern me is the realization that my right flank is up in the air. I have not secured it very well. I have no cavalry screen or anything of the sort, although there's a clump of trees here that can kind of act as a little bit of a anchor to my flank. But with that realization, I'll order a brigade over to cover my right flank a little bit. Because if history is any kind of teacher, oh, look at the fighting going on right here. So close-up action of the firefighting around Van Pelt House. We got Franklin's brigade getting in position for another volley. And you can see them kind of loading up. Looks like there's rebel infantry and artillery. But I don't see any artillery fire from each side. Oh, there we go. So Wilcox and Franklin's men just open up on Evan. Then we recognize that's Evan's brigade on the rebel side. And it looks like we're just putting lead into the masses there. Now now would be the time to try to cross Stone Bridge. And we've got Keyes 1st Brigade that will try to attempt a crossing of the Stone Bridge. Alright, nothing to report on the right flank as of yet. I can see as far as Dogan's house and that ridge line over there, but I can't see as far as Grovetown. So again, if history were to repeat itself, we do have to be concerned with Johnston's army coming in from the Shenandoah, but I don't see any signs of, I don't even see any signs of Beauregard's main force, although it looks like they might be down here to the south of Henry Hill. So, and it looks like they're finally reacting to the attack. I see rebel units starting to move towards Henry Hill. So let's make our move in that direction, try to keep them from getting to occupying those heights before we can. He's got a brigade under Hampton, we see, and Pendleton's artillery. So it looks like Henry Hill will be contested again. It looks like the rebel units that were defending Stone Bridge are just getting mauled to pieces. They have, looks like they're failing morale. If that red, oh, and it looks like the artillery is also failing some morale. The situation is bad. Looks like strength 1259, so I think that brigade had started with something like 1,600 men in strength, and now we have a brigade across. That's Sherman's brigade has crossed the Stone Bridge, and you just see a lot of rebel units getting kind of shot down to pieces there. So I know there's been some criticisms of the 3D graphics, but it works. I mean, it reminds me of a better version of Shogun and their graphics, the original Total War Shogun, but like on steroids. So even though the Total War game itself, the newer games are much deeper graphics, I feel like these graphics aren't as bad as people are criticizing. The ambiance and the feel of the battles is really good. The flashes from the muzzles, the smoke from the cannons, and the sound effects are really solid too. So again, I've never been someone that is overly impressed with really good graphics, so I guess my tastes and my objectivity towards how good these graphics are. I mean, again, I will admit they're not the best graphics that you can find in a even in a tactical style war game like this. But they're solid. They're good. They get the feel of it pretty well. All right, so back to the battle though, and oh, you see the rebel reinforcements are on their way in force, and it looks like I just have maybe I've got to, yeah, let's get Heinzelman's entire division over there in support, because now I got hunters, couple of hunters brigades that might be under trouble. They might be in trouble here, especially if they get flanked. And actually, I see, looks like Stuart's cavalry on my right flank, arriving onto Bald Hill there. So the rebels could be making a strong defense of this, and they might make a real good go of this after all. I have 1st Brigade here under Blanker. Looks like the rebels are attempting a crossing off over Lewis's ford to maybe take those guns. So we need to put a stop to that. We will not let that happen. So moving Blanker's brigade into that position. So Lewis's brigade, or I'm sorry, that's not Lewis's brigade. Koch's brigade is in trouble. It looks like we have shattered rebel units that have retreated across Farm Ford into my rear area, but nothing to worry about there. I think those are shattered units. Looks like there's heavy fighting going on at Henry Hill. I should probably take a look at that. It looks like I've already shattered some of the rebel units there. Actually, I think those are Jackson's skirmishers. I don't think those are, they're little dots, not a shattered brigade icon. So let's keep moving units across Bull Run here. And now the assault, or the battle for Henry Hill is underway, because both it looks like both armies are beating on the hill at the same time. So you can see the heavy fighting now, as both sides are going to try to fight fiercely for the hill. And as we have, although things haven't progressed exactly like history, here we are, 1st Manassas, heavy fighting at Henry House Hill. But it looks like the Union is definitely has the advantage here, and that was very much the case in first Bull Run, where the Union in the first phase of the battle was winning the battle until, you know, the turning point where Jackson holds his ground on the hill, and well, you know, how true all that was. He did stubbornly hold a position. And look at all the firing going on here right now, and I see a lot more rebel units though coming into the battle. So this is going to be a tough fight here at Henry Hill. And they've got artillery support, and they're positioned on a hill, so that's good. Although I have Heinzelman coming with some reserves, so Hunter just needs to hold that position. We got heavy firing going on right now. Lots of snaps and crackles and pops. It looks like Hunter's men are driving the rebels off, though. Although the rebels still have a lot of reinforcements there. I'm having a hard time getting Heinzelman into position too on their flank, so. And there's some artillery fire that the Union troops are taking. And it looks like some skirmishers are getting in position to flank Burnside's brigade. Just hold the line. We got reinforcements coming on the flank, the right flank of the rebel troops here. And you can see in the background more Union men. So lots of fierce fighting going on here on Henry Hill. And it looks like the rebel brigade, Koch's brigade, has caught themselves in a awkward position here across Lewis's Ford, and I'm going to take advantage of that. We should be able to put some a lot of damage onto that brigade, kind of isolated from the rest of the force. Kind of a silly mistake by the AI. And we got Sherman here trying to flank the position. It looks like the rebels are trying to counter with some artillery setting up in that tree line. So let's move Keys. I got Keys over here. Try to move him into position. Looks like, I don't know if that artillery is trying to run away. Porter's brigade. So lots of heavy fighting going on right now. So we're in the heat of the battle. It is almost noon battlefield time. And the past hour has seen the most significant fighting so far in the battle. Looks like I am driving the Confederates off the hill. Some more heavy firing from Schenck's brigade, as the rebels seem to be just grouping up all together in a bunch here on Henry Hill. They're actually kind of on the downslope of Henry Hill. Let's take a look over. There's Lewis Ford here, and the rebels tried crossing. I don't know if they were retreating, and they retreated right into a formed brigade. So they look like they're in retreat there. That's Koch's brigade on the rebel side. And it looks like Stuart's cavalry just kind of formed up in my rear area here. So now I'm trying to get some units to address that situation. Although Stuart's men look small. It's a small detachment, but they're, that's some rebel cavalry and can easily disturb the morale of my units on the hill here. So a concern of mine right now is that one unit of cavalry. And the rebels seem to have formed up, though, and are not retreating. They were pushed back off the hill, but they're kind of holding their ground now on the downslope of Henry Hill. So they're still trying to make a fight of it. And now I have Porter's brigade. You can kind of see Porter's brigade and Stuart's cavalry on the flank there. And it looks like the rebels are actually moving up Henry Hill. That almost looks like the rebel units are coming in and charging up Henry Hill. Let's try to take a closer look and try to get some units over there too. They're really coming in there heavy. Let's take a quick check at Blackburn's Ford. Longstreet looks to be trying to cross, and there's some rebel units across the Bull Run Creek there. You know what? I really need to get Runyon's division as my last reserve. I need to get him involved in this battle, so I'm going to order him up to the Warrenton area, and we'll see when he gets there what I can do with him. So back on Henry Hill, you've got the rebels trying to retake the hill, supported by Stuart's cavalry's flank attack. And back at Blackburn's Ford, still not a lot of action, but some rebel units trying to get across Bull Run. Now I'm trying to just order as many units onto Henry Hill, and because I don't like the situation that's developing here. It looks like I'm now outnumbered at Henry House Hill. And let's see if we can, if my Palmer's cavalry detachment can kind of fight off the rebel cavalry under Stewart. And my cavalry looks like they're pushing them back. But there's a lot of Confederates now on the hill opening fire. So both sides just standing their ground and volley after volley. Everyone's just taking shots. I'm trying to get some more units over to support the attack. And now it's slowly looking like I'm becoming the defender. Now I'm trying to see if I can try to bottle up these units, these rebel units on Henry Hill, or the ones that are trying to retake it. I've got some Union brigades over here, Keyes, and I think Sherman was over there. And it looks like they're defending their right flank. So the Confederates have like a unit in those woods there to the right, trying to defend their flank there while they retake Henry Hill. So, in the fire, it's just a massive firefight going on right now. It's been going on probably since 11 a.m. battlefield time, and it is now 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's just kind of a rolling fire of a fight going on as I keep trying to push more units into the fray here, and they keep pushing more units, so it's just a big mob of troops. It looks like that's Koch's brigade is not, I thought they retreated off the field, not Koch's brigade of the rebel units. They're just being thrown into that melee of a fight, and Blackburn's Ford still being Blackburn's Ford. Let's see what we got going on still. Just now it looks like I got Keyes is trying to get in behind. Well, it looks like I see Johnston's on the field. So Johnston has arrived on the field. That's where they must have got all the reinforcements from. So let's see how this all plays out. One side's going to eventually just deteriorate and wither away, but both sides currently seem to be determined just to duke it out here, although it looks like the rebels are trying to make a charge right at Franklin's brigade. Actually, no, that's not Franklin's brigade, but I am trying to order Franklin up here to counter the move here, but the rebels are starting to get a little aggressive here. Although I've got more units across Lewis's Ford and in behind Johnston's position now. So it's like make or break time for the rebels. If they can't push me off Henry Hill, then they risk being cut off from the retreating, where they, the Longstreet over there at Blackburn's Ford, and they'll be split in two. So the fighting right now is getting real heavy. It's hard to tell who's winning, although you see like a lot of yellow indicators underneath the units, meaning they're wavering. We have Keyes Brigade highlighted here, and they keep going from red indicators to green indicators, and so they're engaged is their status, so their morale is still good. They are 1,500 strong, and it looks like the rebels are charging. So they're going they're going after it hard. I'm going to bring up, I got Franklin's brigade in reserve, trying to bring them up to reinforce the position. You can hear the rebel yell. There's Burnside's brigade in the cornfield there, just acting as a supporting brigade. So look at that hot mess of units just intermingling, fighting. There looks like there's a rebel unit that's breaking. I'm going to try to get some more units across Lewis's Ford. And it looks like some units here are shattered. And it looks like the rebels are recoiling, and my Union troopers have so far held the field. Let's zoom out a second here and look at the overall situation at 1 p.m. battlefield time. And you can see some rebel units starting to crack and retreat. And they're retreating all over the place, some behind my lines, which is a little bit irritating. I'd rather them not do that in case they reform and behind me. So hopefully hopefully they stay shattered and do not become a threat later on. So let's try to reposition our tangled up mess of troops too, because that's potentially hazardous to our success, is that our units in fending off that aggressive attack by the rebels, we are now disconjointed, fatigued, and the units are losing command and control, although we're looking relatively cohesive compared to the rebels right now. Although I'm driving the rebels back, they're not in full retreat, although many of their units did shatter. I can't seem to completely drive them off, although they're trying to hold the line with frontline artillery, which, yeah, it looks like it's working right now, but in real life that happened in extreme circumstances. So, and in game war, in tactical war games like this tactical battle right here, trying to hold the line with artillery is never a good option. It's something I hope the AI does not often do. Looks like there was a big melee fight here. Looks like a lot of dead Union soldiers. Let's move up Howard's brigade. Keep trying to move up my units. They seem more reluctant, and I don't know if that's an issue with fatigue or disorder, but here we go. Here comes Howard. I want him to take these guns right here. Let's do this. Right, they're marching right on the guns. You hear the screaming and yelling of soldiers fighting. And Howard has met their objective. Still a rebel artillery battery still trying to fire away and shell at my units, even though they're almost surrounded. It looks like the rebels are retreating away. They don't look like they're routing, but they are trying to get out of that melee fight, so that is good. What a mess. Look at all those units all just jumbled up together. And now I have units across Lewis's Ford trying to hit the rebels in the flank there. And My right flank looks secure, although Stewart is way in my rear now. So I'm going to have to address that situation in a little bit here. That Jeb Stewart always causing some troubles. Alright, looks like the situation is coming under control, although it looks like I have a unit under Porter breaking on Henry Hill. They're retreating off the field, but the rebels still seem to be moving back, which is what I want to see. Let's bring Runyon up. Where do we want to put him? Do we want to take him to Ballsford and cross over there? Maybe Blackburn's Ford. We are actually going to move him over to Blackburn's Ford there. So it looks like the rebels are trying to get across Holcomb, the little stream of Holcomb Branch, and onto the high ground behind there. Although I've got units already back there, and I'm able to get my units in good order, and they're able to push them back. We're getting more artillery across Lewis's Ford. So it looks like the rebels are starting to break as we head into, it looks like the 2 o'clock afternoon, the 2 o'clock hour. So hopefully we can mop things up here. Although we still have Longstreet holding Blackburn Ford. I haven't really done anything aggressive over there, so I might have to address that situation soon. Let's try to order an assault on Longstreet at Blackburn's Ford. Let's get this moving, and then maybe I can get to the McLean house and take that objective right there. Now it looks like the rebels are starting to take up position near Island Ford at the crossroads there. And they've got some formed battalions, I should say formed brigades. Although I don't know if those are just remnants of the former force. We got Evans and Smith's brigade coming up to support their retreat. But things look well in hand. The battle still undecided, but the Union has the advantage right now. I don't know if the rebels can form and can take over or make a stage a comeback in this battle, I should say. But they are bringing in some reinforcements. There's now 3 brigades with some artillery entering the field, and they are going to try to take this high ground here, this wooded terrain near Holcomb Branch Stream. As I try to organize an attack, as my units seem to be cumbersome to control at the moment. I can't seem to get them moving it to where exactly I want them to. So you got this area of trees here that looks like it will be disputed between the Union troops and the rebel troops. And yes, the Confederates have more reinforcements arriving on the field. So they're going to make another stand here near Island Ford. And try to, looks like there'll be some fighting for this high ground before the end of the day. So here's the situation at 3 p.m. battlefield time. It looks like the rebels are going to mount a defense at Holcomb Branch, while the Union troops are going to try to attack through this wooded terrain and get in and keep harassing the rebel right flank across Bull Run Ford, or Bull Run Stream, I should say. Zooming out here, you can see to the north there are some rebel units in full retreat. Longstreet is just stuck on Blackburn's Ford, but he does have some artillery on the flank of Richardson's brigade. And Richardson's been slow to move too, but now he's getting reinforcements from Runyon's division. So we should be able to take out Longstreet's defense of Blackburn Ford. I don't see any other rebel units. So unless the AI is doing a good job not exposing those reinforcements, then we should be able to take Blackbean's Ford without much resistance. And we start mounting we're getting in position here to attack the rebels, who are now starting to retreat again from the heights around Holcomb Branch. But it's kind of you can tell both sides seem kind of tired in this fighting. There's less action, a lot less gunfire, although there's some sporadic fire going on right now, some between these two units in the forest region here. And there's some strong artillery fire coming from my batteries. I'm also got Blanker's brigade moving up on this little knoll of a hill, confronting the rebel front, as the rebels still struggle to try to get a battle line in place. It does look like they're moving Smith's brigade to Newmarket to try to flank my position, although it looks unsupported, so I don't know how strong that attack will be. I did just notice it looks like they were able to drive off Burnside's brigade off that forested hill area on Holcomb Branch, which is now unoccupied by any force. So I have Shank's brigade, who's done a lot of fighting today, moving up the road here and now getting in position. Whoops, don't go that way. Oh, straighten up, boys, straighten up. Let's form that line. They kind of got into a weird position there. They just need to wheel left. Oh, there's I got Davies' brigade moving forward. I've got a brigade on the hill to the Confederate right flank. So there's a little bit more heavier fighting now, as it looks like almost a rear guard action forming here by the Confederate Army. There we go. There goes Shank's brigade wheeling to position. They still can't seem to hold the position they want to hold, as a rebel unit here just comes through the cornfield, attacking some skirmishers from Holmes' brigade, are addressing Shank's position there. The attack on Longstreet at Blackburn's Ford is underway. We've got Runyon's division now on the field to support Richardson's brigade. And the rebels have gotten one of their units across Holcomb Branch on my right flank there. So I have some units in reserve that are either taking a break from the battle, so I can, as they reform, I can use them to address the flank attack by the Confederates. Now it looks like we have a attack line formed and a defensive line formed here at what I'll call Island Ford Crossroads, for lack of a better term. And The fighting is getting a little bit more fierce, and you can hear the sounding of the guns roaring a little bit heavier than before, as you have several rebel units now formed up. Looks like there's Bartow's brigade now from the other side of Bull Run. I didn't even notice them. How long had they been over there? But they're coming back onto their side of the Bull Run. And here's the flank attack with Stewart again, and they formed, oh no, it's just Stewart's brigade trying to harass my flank and rear. I'm able to get Howard and a Union Cavalry Division, or I'm sorry, Union Cavalry Brigade to address the situation. And they're actually going to charge right into Stewart. So Howard, having none of this flank attack, trying to eliminate Stewart right off the map, just drive him off. Actually see Beauregard on the field now. This is the first time I've noticed him. So it looked like maybe Beauregard was actually holding his main force in reserve and letting Johnston do the initial fighting. I don't know. I don't know what the actual plan of the Confederates was in the battle, in this recreation battle. But they're putting up a stiff resistance right now towards as we head into the late stages of the first day of the battle. As both sides have got to be exhausted, and they are doing a good job blocking the road here. As I can't seem to get enough formed battalions myself into position to attack. So the fighting keeps going here at the crossroads. Let's zoom out, take a look at the bigger picture. The rear area looks for the most part secure, although I've just seen Johnston. Now in this is a post recording edit, and there was and this video was done recorded a little while ago. There was an issue with the Army commanders kind of going on their own tangent, creating weird situations where you had them kind of running around near formed brigades, which is never a good idea. The commander should be in control of the battlefield, not running near formed battalions. Let's take a look at Blackburn's Ford. I think that issue has been addressed. I have a few more battles to play with the updated version of GrandTactician. This is still an early access version of the game, so they are doing continuous updates on the game. These are post-recording edits of the gameplay from maybe a couple weeks ago. And I think some of the issues have been addressed, so that is a good sign with this game here. It is now almost 4 p.m. battlefield time, and there is just this mob of Confederate troops in my way, trying to defend their line of retreat. They've stationed a brigade on my right flank of the attack, so as to slow my advance down. So they're actually putting up a decent rear guard action right now, if not a little bit unorganized, but they seem to be stalling out my advance. Still dealing with rebel harassment on the flank and rear. Now there's 2 brigades, Smith and B. So I'm going to have to address that. Looks like Burnside is reforming. I can use his brigade to maybe just protect the flank. But it is drawing resources off from the main attack on the Confederate rearguard action. Still just a large firefight going on. Artillery in the background firing away. Blanker's brigade. Tidballs. Artillery firing. You got Wilcox trying to come up in support of the attack. No, the rebels don't seem to be breaking yet. Keep on moving some troops forward as best I can. So Wilcox Brigade really giving it to the rebels. He's about 2,000 strong with that brigade. Looks like the rebels might be trying to counterattack here. Right in front of Wilcox's men. And that kind of stalled out there. Oh, you got Holmes's brigade on my right flank, occupying that hilly terrain. Oh, Longstreet is broken, and it looks like I'm being able to take Blackburn's Ford now and march on the McLean House. So those are 2 objectives on the battlefield that need to be taken. So finally, Longstreet breaks and runs. That's a big. That will go. That's a big part of the battle because I can get in behind the rebels at the crossroads here. So it looks like the rebels are trying to either counterattack here. They've got 3 brigades now on my right flank as I scramble to get some support here. I've got Burnside still trying to hold the rear and make sure that contain this flank attack that the rebels are trying to mount. And now I have to take Franklin's brigade and try to attack Holmes, although the rebel flank attack is exposing their own flank. It is 4:30 battlefield time. And things are still being contested very aggressively by both sides as the firefight intensifies in the late stages of the battle. So it looks like there's more rebels on my right flank than first thought. There's 2 artillery brigades, and you have Holmes and B and Smith. Well, that's still 3 brigades as I originally thought. But they're looking to get the advantage over here, just causing all kinds of disruption on my attack. It is now 5 p.m. battlefield time, and it looks like my attack line has some good cohesion in it. It's formed. There's Franklin is securing the right flank of that main attack at the crossroads. I do have Burnside in defending the rear, although it looks like I'm going to try to maybe add another unit over there just in case. If Burnside breaks, then I'm going to have 2 Confederate brigades just dancing around my backside. Oh, and Franklin just broke and ran. That's not good. So, some setbacks here at the conclusion of the first day. I don't understand why the Confederate AI just won't give up. But they're not. So that's kind of a good thing. But there seem to be just doesn't seem to be a cohesive counterattack. Although everything's kind of just a mangled up mess at the moment. Although I look very unopposed here now at Blackburn's Ford. So I need to try to get across there. And it's starting to look like the Confederates are, well, their units are breaking. It just seems like I will have the advantage here at the crossroads, and then my units start to break. The Confederates then start looking like they take over the advantage, and they start breaking. And you can kind of see here, it is almost 6 o'clock battlefield time in the evening. The game scene here looks very dusk. You can see kind of the nighttime rolling in. Looks a little darker on the battlefield as the sun is starting to set. We have an interesting development here, and it looks like the Confederate B's brigade is trying to hit my flank. Wilcox's brigade, who is trying to defend the crossroads with Heinzelman and can't really see the name there. Blinker. So Blinker, Heinzelman, and are trying to defend the crossroads from a last minute Confederate counterattack. In the waning hours of the first day of Bull Run. So still no conclusion to the first day, just troops sporadically fighting. I'm going to try to get this last objective at the McLean house. Let's go back to the fighting at the crossroads, and still a lot of heavy fighting between these remaining brigades that are trying to either defend the crossroads for the Union or take the crossroads. Bartow's brigade of the Confederates has just broken and ran, so that's a good job by the Union forces. There's Key's brigade also on the field, helping secure that flank. And if we check back in the rear area, we got Burnside still holding that position. So Burnside's done a pretty good job. He was pretty much the only brigade with some artillery support to protect the rear guard of the Union position. And it looks like we have Keys about to. Looks like it was about to charge that rebel unit. So these remaining units just duking it out, exhausted men, fighting for the final position of the battle before nighttime falls. But no broken army here, so not a decisive victory or defeat either way on either side. So no massive rout of armies. The Union is not going to rout to Washington, D.C. The rebels are not going to run away to Richmond. And we most likely, I think, will play another day here. So things sounding really quiet now while Wilcox and Keyes drive off the remaining elements of B's brigade that was trying to flank attack. And the McLean house is securely in Union hands. So that objective is taken. I think all objectives have been taken. Alright, now we have moved forward to about 7:20 p.m. We almost got like a nighttime engagement starting to begin here. Still some fighting between these brigades. Mostly the same brigades, Blanker, Keyes. Looks like a new Confederate brigade of Hampton who hasn't seen a ton of fighting, or I haven't really noticed. Heintzelman. So Heintzelman and that's Heintzelman's division with Wilcox, Blanker, and Keyes who have been holding this crossroads section of the battlefield at the very end here of the day one. And at the very top you see the battle is still indecisive. And then I'm just going to try to move Runyon's division, who hasn't seen much fighting at all today. We'll take advantage of the fact that there are not many more rebel troops to confront him and move him over to the rear of the main rebel position. So speeding up to about 8:30 at night, we got Runyon's division got behind the rebel position here. So hopefully maybe we can trap them before the day ends. I'm surprised the... Oh, of course we get end of the day. End of the day, right when I got a whole division behind the Confederate defensive positions. Troops resupplied. During the night your army was resupplied. Inspect the situation of your troops. Click continue. And you can see the outline here of where I can position my troops. So it's kind of interesting. So let's do some rearranging here for the next day of battle. And it's already moved up to 6 a.m. And again, I feel like I have this battle. Okay, it's already showing a major victory now if you look at the top. And so I think we're just trying to hold this position and finish off what remaining troops are there. You'd think we just get like a final, hey, you won this battle. But I guess I don't know if there's a morale deficiency that the rebel units have to, like some kind of threshold the rebel units have to finish. I have all the taken by Runyon. All the objectives have been taken. Nice job, reserve unit, Runyon. So everything's taken. I guess there's those arrows leading off the map. Maybe if I take those objectives too, we will finish the battle. So why don't we, well, let's fast forward this and see. Alright, fast forwarding this ahead a little bit, and it looks like the rebel units are just trying to retreat towards the edge of the map here, as they are they're getting out of my line of sight. They're heading towards the Warrenton Turnpike, so hopefully they're just in retreat. You'd think if they were deciding to retreat, the AI would have an option to just hit a withdrawal button. But I guess maybe they let you play it out until to give the opponent a chance to maybe take more units or destroy more units. So they might have to fight another rear guard action. We are going to command our units, some units, to take the exit portions of the map and see if that will trigger a final resolution to the battle. And we are just chasing, looks like Beauregard, just chasing him down the Warrenton Pike. And I mean, this is obviously a major victory for the Union. Just mopping up the rebel troops. Looks like Beauregard has retreated off the field. So this is a older version of the battle that I did a while ago. So I believe they resolved this issue where the battle would have finished by now. There would have been decided that this was a major victory and the battle would have ended, because those looks like the only units that are left on the field. And looking forward at the video that was done for this, so this is a post-edit voiceover right now. There's about another 20 minutes or so of just the AI running around the field. So, and I'm pretty sure they have resolved that issue in subsequent patches. So, I'm going to be doing some more historical battles. So, if you want to catch newer videos of GrandTactician Civil War, please like and subscribe to my channel, Cook's War Strategy Gaming, or Cook's WSG, and you will see follow-up videos on the rest of the historical battles from GrandTactician Civil War, 1861 to 1865. I'm gonna speed up through here and we'll look at the final results of the battle when the battle results trigger. So after about 20 minutes of running around chasing Johnston himself, we have the final results of the Battle of Bull Run. It's a withdrawal. It looks like the enemy has withdrawn from the field as night has set in on the second day. Looks like we lost 1,300 infantry out of 41,000. No cavalry loss. 8 guns lost. But then the total says 10,000. So that's a weird number. Looks like the total we lost was 10,000 out of, which actually that number seems more realistic to what I saw in the actual battle. And then let's look at the Confederate side. Army of the Potomac, commanded by General P.G.T. Beauregard. They lost 18,000 and lost a total of 80, all their guns. Oof. That's bad. That would be bad. So, yeah, again, this is, right now this is a post video recording edit, and this video was taken a few weeks ago. I just never got around to editing it. Now, there are a lot of changes have been made to the GrandTactician Civil War, 1861, 1865. They've updated it quite extensively already. It's still in early access. I've recently recorded a Wilson Creek video that I will be posting hopefully sooner than later. There was already changes made to that and changes since then as well. So they are making changes faster than I can edit and post videos, which is a good thing. Although not real hard to do, as I am a very procrastinating editor. But I hope you enjoyed this first video in the historical battle video series for GrandTactician Civil War. And I will see you next time. Thank you.